Jiang Kai was a broke, down-on-his-luck guy with no bitches to brag. He lived with his hard-working older brother and younger sister, who tirelessly supported him despite their own struggles. So they can send Jiang Kai to a nearby ghost star so he can earn money. And upon arriving, Jiang Kai discovered that he had unlocked a unique and rare skill. However, no luck with the bitches though. The story begins with Jiang Kai posing a philosophical question to the reader about destiny, wondering if choices lead to different outcomes or if all paths converge to the same fate. This contemplation is quickly interrupted by a scene of chaos, where a group of people are desperately fleeing from a terrifying, large monster. One man warns the others about an approaching cliff, urging them to hide quickly. They scramble to conceal themselves behind small rocks as the monster roars menacingly. Among the group, a frightened girl hides, silently praying that the monster won't find her. Her hopes are cruelly dashed as the monster discovers and kills her. Jiang Kai, severely injured, is also hiding from the same creature, witnessing the girl's demise. He internally laments the difficulty of this novice trial on the so-called ghost star. He knows that surviving for 5 minutes after using job change materials is supposed to automatically complete the job change process. However, he fears that even surviving for a single minute will be a challenge, especially since normal people are also present. Jiang Kai then provides context for the reader, explaining that he is currently undergoing this novice trial on the ghost star. This celestial body, he explains, is a massive star that mysteriously appeared near Earth 50 years ago. Surprisingly, its appearance didn't cause any gravitational disturbances to Earth. Instead, it triggered a bizarre transformation in Earth's flora and fauna, turning them into monstrous creatures known as beast gods. These creatures wreak havoc across the globe, and their power is beyond the capabilities of current human technology, pushing humanity to the brink of extinction. In this desperate time, humans discovered magical teleportation arrays scattered across Earth. These arrays allow humans to be transported to the ghost star in a digital form. Upon arrival, they found the ghost star to be a hyper-realistic digital world. Here, humans can change their jobs into various professions, acquire values, equipment, and skills, and level up like characters in a game, gaining powerful attributes. They also discovered that reaching a certain level on the ghost star allows them to bring this surreal power back to Earth. This means people in the real world can become as powerful as they are on the ghost star, even capable of physically combating the beast gods. In essence, Jiang Kai explains, humanity's survival hinges on acquiring power from the ghost star. Those who venture to the ghost star are known as explorers. The narrative returns to the present, where the monster that Jiang Kai and the others were hiding from has systematically killed everyone except for Jiang Kai himself. He is now the sole survivor, facing the terrifying creature alone. Jiang Kai realizes with dread that he is the only one left alive and has no escape route. He questions if he abandoned his family and came to the ghost star only to meet his demise. This triggers a flashback, where he recalls his younger sister's selfless encouragement. She had urged him to go to the ghost star, promising that she and their eldest brother would work hard to cover his expenses. He remembers the sacrifices his sister made from a young age to support his journey to the ghost star. He also thinks about his brother, who is tirelessly working despite suffering from kidney failure. His brother needs to raise money for surgery within 2 months, or he will die. Jiang Kai is overwhelmed with guilt, feeling that he has not only failed to complete the job transfer but is also squandering his family's savings and on the verge of death. As the monster attacks, Jiang Kai makes a desperate decision and runs towards the cliff. He decides that instead of passively waiting for death, he will gamble on his only chance of survival for his family's sake. He attempts to evade the monster's attack but is struck on the shoulder. Taking a leap of faith, he jumps off the cliff. The monster watches him fall, but Jiang Kai, having survived the required 5 minutes on the ghost star, experiences a sudden shift. A window materializes before him as he falls, informing him that his actions align with the behavior of a gambler, triggering a 1 in a million chance of obtaining a hidden career. Another window appears, confirming that he has successfully completed his job transfer and has become a gambler, an honorable hidden profession. Despite continuing to fall, He eventually wakes up at the bottom of the cliff, miraculously alive and unharmed. He is bewildered, wondering why he sustained no injuries from the fall and why his previous injuries have completely healed. Suddenly, with a ding sound, a female figure appears before him. She identifies herself as the AI brain associated with the ghost star. She explains that his timely job transfer refreshed his basic attributes, effectively resurrecting him with full health. She congratulates him on his successful job transfer and proceeds to explain the gambler's professional talents. His talent, she reveals, is that any system report or punishment he receives will have a double effect. Additionally, there is a 1% chance of triggering a super double effect, which multiplies rewards and punishments by 10. Jiang Kai, still processing the situation, asks the female figure if she is indeed the AI brain that exists alongside the ghost star. The female figure continues her explanation, stating that because Jiang Kai triggered the double talent, he has gained an additional talent, a rare occurrence in the world. Jiang Kai is surprised and excited, realizing that while others typically have only one talent after changing jobs, he has two. The female figure confirms this and reveals his second talent, Super Critical Hit. This talent modifies his critical hit damage to 200 times the normal amount, with an initial critical hit chance of 0.1%. Jiang Kai is shocked to discover that his total attributes are 36, significantly higher than the usual 20 points for someone who has just changed jobs. He inquires about this discrepancy with the female figure. She explains that the doubles talent also doubles the attribute points awarded after changing jobs. Jiang Kai is amazed, realizing the implications of this doubling effect. He internally calculates that if a normal person gains 10 attribute points per level on the ghost star, he will gain 20. This means his leveling progress will be equivalent to someone else leveling up twice. He also considers his second talent, Super Critical Hit. While a normal person's critical hit deals about twice the damage, his deals 200 times the damage. Although his current critical hit rate is only 0.1%, he recognizes that increasing this rate will make his future damage output terrifying. Jiang Kai notices a wooden stick on the ground and wonders if it was the weapon used by the human-faced beast earlier. He reflects on his initial motivation for coming to the ghost star, to earn money for his brother's surgery as quickly as possible. Even a weak profession on the ghost star can earn more than on Earth. However, he unexpectedly triggered an additional job transfer judgment and became a powerful, hidden professional gambler. He now sees a new possibility, to quickly earn enough for his brother's medical expenses and provide a better life for his family. Jiang Kai picks up the wooden stick from the ground. Another system window appears, informing him that he has successfully completed the job transfer and must now complete the novice task of arriving safely at Shenzhou City within 7 days. He understands that completing the job transfer in the novice trial is just the first step. The next is to complete the novice trial itself. With newfound determination, he quickly begins his journey towards the city to complete his trial. Jiang Kai explains the difficulty of successfully reaching Shenzhou City. The trial area is full of half-monsters, and failing the trial results in being teleported back to Earth. Even dying on the ghost star doesn't harm one's physical body on Earth, and one can log in again. However, this seemingly small price of death is only insignificant for the wealthy. Logging into the ghost star requires a substantial amount of money, giving rich individuals countless opportunities for trial and error. In contrast, poor people like Jiang Kai must succeed on their first attempt, as they lack the resources for a second chance. As he walks through the forest, Jiang Kai suddenly hears a terrifying scream. He recognizes the voice and, driven by concern, rushes towards the source. Peeking behind a tree, he discovers his old friend, Yuan Zhu, in a perilous situation. Yuan Zhu, despite not being interested in men, has a crippling fear of snakes. He is currently surrounded by 3 highly venomous land snakes, and one bite would be fatal. Without hesitation, Jiang Kai shouts to Yuan Zhu, reassuring him that he's coming to help. Yuan Zhu, surprised to see Jiang Kai, urges him to leave, explaining that the snakes have high attributes and are extremely venomous. He believes that first-level individuals cannot defeat them. Ignoring Yuan Zhu's warning, Jiang Kai throws his stick at one of the snakes, successfully killing it. Yuan Zhu is shocked, unable to comprehend how Jiang Kai managed to kill the snake. Jiang Kai realizes that using Yuan Zhu to distract the snakes and attacking from behind was effective. He runs towards his stick, which he used to kill the snake, but now finds himself the target of the remaining two. Yuan Zhu expresses his concern, stating that the snakes are very agile. However, Jiang Kai manages to evade their attacks, surprising Yuan Zhu once again. Jiang Kai internally notes that his doubled attributes after changing jobs make his level 1 agility comparable to level 2, exceeding the agility of these first-level land snakes. He finally retrieves his weapon, which he now perceives as a steel spike instead of a wooden stick. Jiang Kai asks Yuan Zhu if he can continue to attract the snake's attention. Yuan Zhu agrees and resumes his role as a distraction. After some time, Jiang Kai successfully kills all the remaining snakes, ending the immediate threat. Yuan Zhu, still astonished, remarks that he was merely distracting the snakes while Jiang Kai actually killed all of them. Jiang Kai, internally, attributes his success to his agility-focused profession, despite its low strength. He suspects that the steel spike he picked up from the human-faced beast might be a piece of high-quality equipment in the novice area that enhances strength. Suddenly, Yuan Zhu comes up from behind and gives Jiang Kai an incredibly tight hug, nearly crushing him. He expresses his amazement, saying that he had only heard legends of monsters killing newbies, not the other way around. He asks Jiang Kai how he managed such a feat. Jiang Kai, recovering from the hug, attributes it to luck and reveals that he obtained the hidden profession of a gambler, but asks Yuan Zhu to keep it a secret. Yuan Zhu, mimicking Jiang Kai's tone, jokingly repeats his words about luck and the gambler profession, adding that he won't tell anyone. He then reveals that his own profession is also quite good. Jiang Kai, upon seeing Yuan Zhu's stats, identifies his profession as martial artist and expresses his understanding of how Yuan Zhu survived the snake encounter, as it's a top 5 profession in their Xingyao kingdom. Jiang Kai then provides further explanation to the reader about professions on the Ghost Star. He states that the exact number of professions is unknown. However, the first experience for all explorers upon entering the Ghost Star is changing their profession. The resulting profession usually depends on the job transfer materials purchased before logging in. Wealthy individuals often spend tens of millions to acquire powerful job-changing materials, allowing them to directly transfer to strong professions like martial artists, soldiers, or executioners. In contrast, the poor can only afford the cheapest materials, which often lead to weak combat capabilities or even random, undesirable professions like drunkard or beggar. Turning back to Yuan Zhu, Jiang Kai expresses his surprise at Yuan Zhu's choice of profession, as materials for a martial artist transfer cost 50 million. He jokingly asks if Yuan Zhu took out a loan from loan sharks. Yuan Zhu laughs it off, saying it's a long story that he'll explain later. Jiang Kai then suggests they hurry up and collect the snake corpses, as he's heard that they can be sold for money. He explains to the reader that various items obtained on the Ghost Star, such as corpses, ores, and equipment, can be exchanged for currency. He reiterates his intention to use this to earn money on the Ghost Star to support his family. While collecting the corpses, which transform into cards upon being dropped, Jiang Kai reflects on the recent battle. He concludes that the gambler profession seems to be significantly more powerful than that of a martial artist. Suddenly, someone emerges from the nearby bushes, startling Yuan Zhu. Jiang Kai, alert, demands to know who it is. A girl appears, introducing herself as Su Nuanyuan. She explains that she is finding it extremely difficult to pass the trial alone and asks if she can team up with Jiang Kai and Yuan Zhu. Without hesitation, Jiang Kai rejects her request. He explains that they are struggling to protect themselves and fears that taking her along would increase their chances of dying in the trial. Su Nuanyuan, desperate and scared, pleads with them not to leave her behind. She reveals that her profession is doctor and that she can treat their injuries. She adds that she can also extract venom from creatures like the snakes they encountered and use it to enhance their weapons' attack power. Yuan Zhu is surprised and impressed, exclaiming his astonishment at her ability to milk and use poison. The use of the word milked here is ambiguous and potentially suggestive, leaving the reader to wonder about its intended meaning. Jiang Kai, meanwhile, is considering the benefits of having a doctor on their team. He recognizes that the doctored profession is among the top 10 advanced professions. He acknowledges that medical treatment is highly valuable during the novice trial, recalling his own near-death experience and how his job change saved him. Jiang Kai addresses Su Nuanyuan, agreeing to let her join their team. He introduces himself and Yuan Zhu and suggests they head towards their destination together. Yuan Zhu, from behind Jiang Kai, whispers in his ear, teasingly asking if he changed his mind because he has ulterior motives regarding Su Nuanyuan. Jiang Kai denies this, implying his decision is purely based on the strategic advantage of having a doctor in their group. The scene shifts to Earth, specifically the Shengyao National River Midtown, an 18 Ghost Star Login Gate base. Inside the data research room, Professor Li is speaking with Su Lanlan, a newcomer trial instructor. Professor Li comments on the quality of the new watches, noting their ability to accurately locate explorers on the Ghost Star. Su Lanlan agrees, explaining that most watches on the market today can collect various data on the Ghost Star, with more advanced watches having richer functionalities. She then inquires about the progress of the newcomers on the Ghost Star, particularly her sister, Su Nuanyuan. Professor Li informs her that, based on the current positions indicated by the watches, many newcomers have been eliminated. He adds that Su Nuanyuan appears to have teamed up with 2 other people. Su Lanlan is shocked, expressing her disapproval of her sister's decision to form a team. She explains that she had repeatedly warned Su Nuanyuan against teaming up, as larger groups in the novice trial attract more monsters. Their concerns are validated as, back on the Ghost Star, Jiang Kai, Yuan Zhu, and Su Nuanyuan are attacked by 2 human-faced beasts. The narrative jumps forward 3 minutes, with Su Lanlan still anxious about her sister's situation. Professor Li confirms that 2 human-faced beasts were indeed detected near Su Nuanyuan's location. Su Lanlan trembles, fearing the worst. She explains that a single human-faced beast can easily slaughter newcomers, and encountering 2 almost guarantees Su Nuanyuan's demise. Su Lanlan then explains to the reader that death on the Ghost Star is akin to character death in a game. It doesn't cause physical harm to the body on Earth. However, the hyper-realistic experience of death on the Ghost Star can inflict severe psychological trauma, often driving people to madness. Without hesitation, Su Lanlan tells Professor Li that she intends to retrieve her sister for psychological counseling. As she prepares to leave, Professor Li stops her, stating that Su Nuanyuan doesn't appear to be dead. They are both astonished to discover that the 2 human-faced beasts have been killed, leaving them baffled as to how such an outcome was possible. To explain, let's go back to 3 minutes ago. Returning to the moment when Jiang Kai, Yuan Zhu, and Su Nuanyuan encounter the 2 human-faced beasts on the Ghost Star. Yuan Zhu, upon seeing the monsters, reacts with horror, exclaiming his fear and questioning what they are. Su Nuanyuan urgently identifies them as human-faced beasts and yells for everyone to run. Jiang Kai, looking back as he runs, realizes that Yuan Zhu and Su Nuanyuan are not as agile as him and are likely to be caught. He stops and urges Yuan Zhu to go ahead. Yuan Zhu is shocked by Jiang Kai's decision to stay behind. Jiang Kai, clutching his steel spike, expresses his determination to fight the beasts, stating that he can't just keep running. He leaps at one of the human-faced beasts, attempting to stab it with his steel spike. However, he is struck by the other beast and sent flying into a rock. Jiang Kai, gasping for breath and injured, realizes that the human-faced beasts have a significant amount of health, as his attack didn't kill the one he stabbed. The injured beast stands up and begins to approach him. Jiang Kai, bloody and in pain, expresses his frustration and fear, lamenting the possibility of dying on his first trial. Su Nuanyuan, worried about Jiang Kai, desperately suggests to Yuan Zhu that they go back and save him. Yuan Zhu, panting heavily, admits that he is too scared to fight the beasts. The narrative shifts to a flashback on Earth, in the River City residential area. Yuan Zhu's mother is serving tea to an old man, who she identifies as the benefactor who gave Yuan Zhu the materials for his job change. She expresses her confusion about the old man's interest in her son, describing Yuanzhu as tall and strong in appearance but timid in reality. She worries that he wouldn't dare to fight if he encountered a powerful monster on the ghost star. The old man acknowledges Yuanzhu's fearfulness but points out that, despite his fear, Yuanzhu never abandoned someone in need. The scene returns to the present on the ghost star. Yuanzhu, fueled by rage and a sense of loyalty, screams furiously. He declares that Jiang Kai, an outsider, protected him because of his cowardice. He emphasizes their brotherhood, stating that brothers should walk and fight together, even if it means dying together. He then punches one of the human-faced beasts, killing it with a single blow. Jiang Kai, injured and surprised, wonders how Yuanzhu managed to defeat a human-faced beast with one blow, despite the low damage. He speculates if this is the power of a martial artist. Suddenly, he feels himself being healed and sees Su Nuanyuan casting a spell. He expresses concern for her safety, reminding her that she doesn't have a combat profession. Su Nuanyuan, determined, yells that she won't leave. She explains that a doctor's duty is to tend to the wounded, regardless of fear. She then reveals a personal story to the reader. Her father died during a fight against the Beast Tide due to a lack of medical support. She declares that she won't abandon her team members when they need support, just as her father needed it. Jiang Kai, relieved and surprised, realizes that his injuries have been completely healed. He remarks to Su Nuanyuan, with a hint of amusement, that she truly isn't afraid of death. However, he internally acknowledges that even with the three of them together, their combined damage output is insufficient to kill the remaining human-faced beast. Suddenly, he remembers Su Nuanyuan's earlier statement about her ability to extract snake venom to enhance weapon attack power. He urgently asks her if she can indeed extract snake venom. Su Nuanyuan confirms that she can. Jiang Kai, holding up the corpses of the snakes they killed earlier, asks if she can simultaneously heal Yuanzhu and apply snake venom to his weapon. Su Nuanyuan, concentrating and using her powers, expresses uncertainty but vows to try her best. Jiang Kai, determined, realizes that this is their only chance. He believes that if his is correct, they might win using this method. He knows he can't withstand the damage from the human-faced beast, but Yuanzhu can. Although his own attack isn't strong enough to kill the beast, Su Nuanyuan, as a healer, can increase his attack power. He recognizes that their team composition mirrors the classic shield, healer, damaged combination found in games. Su Nuanyuan announces that the poison upgrade is complete. Jiang Kai, feeling confident, thinks that even if newcomers are typically weak, teamwork can make a difference. He instructs Yuanzhu to control one of the human-faced beasts for him. Yuanzhu confidently agrees. Jiang Kai reflects that as long as they work together and fulfill their respective roles, they can even fight against a newcomer killer like the human-faced beast. Jiang Kai stabs the monster and shouts, urging it to go to hell. A system screen appears, displaying that Jiang Kai has killed a level 2 human-faced beast and gained experience points. Yuanzhu is surprised, and Su Nuanyuan expresses her joy that their strategy worked. The other human-faced beast roars. Jiang Kai, calm and confident, thinks that teamwork is indeed effective. He believes that even with another beast present, they can defeat it perfectly using their combined abilities. In the data research room, Su Lanlan was taken aback by the watch data. She expressed her surprise, questioning how the team of 3 could have possibly defeated 2 human-faced beasts, creatures known for their power against newcomers. Professor Li, remaining calm, confirmed the data while pointing out that one member of the team, Nuanyuan, lacked any killing ability according to the records. He further explained that the other 2 were also not very strong, which lead him to believe that Jiang Kai was the one who did it. However, a perplexing detail arose. Jiang Kai's occupation couldn't be found. Su Lanlan reacted with shock and a touch of panic to this information, expressing her disbelief that an occupation could be missing. She then reflected on the situation, her curiosity piqued by this newcomer who seemed capable of defeating powerful beasts yet had no identifiable profession. She wondered what kind of person he could be. Back in the aftermath of their fight, Jiang Kai lay on the ground, expressing relief at their success. Yuanzhu, also on the ground, laughed joyfully, praising Jiang Kai's cleverness and expressing how awesome he found him to be. Su Nuanyuan voiced her confidence that now they had the power to defeat human-faced beasts. They could easily reach the end of the trial. Yuan Zhu agreed that they could just head straight to the exit to finish it all up. However, Jiang Kai calmly suggested they not be in such a rush, pointing out there was ample time before they reached Xingyao City. Su Nuanyuan showed a little bit of disappointment at his comment. He explained patiently, assuring them not to worry because points are calculated after they pass the trial, and a high rank earns powerful equipment from the military, and that equipment would greatly benefit them when they actually begin working on the Ghost Star. Since they had the ability to defeat monsters and could convert their victories to points, they should work on getting more points to possibly get a top 3 position on the leaderboard, hence gaining rewards. His proposal had them completely surprised. A few hours later, Yuan Zhu stood alone in the forest, his voice filled with apprehension. He questioned Jiang Kai about the points, expressing worry about being the lure and letting a lot of snakes after him, which led him to feel if he would die because of the large number. Jiang Kai reassured him calmly, reminding Yuan Zhu of his martial arts background which made him good at defense. They also had Nuanyuan for treatment which they could do at any time. Jiang Kai, whose real intent was using Yuan Zhu as bait, then focused his attack on the snakes that charged him from behind. He quickly dispatched 3 level 1 snakes. Jiang Kai thought that based on the rules, only those who landed the killing blow got the experience from the slain monster. He then understood that letting himself take all the experience meant that he could become stronger to further help the entire team be stronger. After a full day of this tactic, he finally reached level 2. A system announcement alerted everyone of his accomplishment. He now doubled his reward because of an ability he had, granting him extra stat points. He seemed pleased to receive this. Nuanyuan then congratulates Jiang Kai. Yuan Zhu expressed interest in his character's stat change. Jiang Kai explained his upgrade had provided him with 20 attribute points to allocate, resulting in 56 total stats at level 2 that were already good. Nuanyuan and Yuan Zhu showed their shock when they heard what Jiang Kai received and did not hide their disbelief of it all, since their base value upon leveling was normally 10 point, but Jiang Kai received double due to an innate skill of his. They then realized that Jiang Kai total attributes seemed comparable to level 4 since both of them are so low-leveled compared to his, particularly with Nuanyuan having an almost paltry amount, which then Jiang Kai admitted to, explaining it was because of a profession feature of his that allowed for doubled rewards on things like upgrades. Jiang Kai cautioned them that his doubled rewards might also mean doubled penalties, reminding them to keep his profession a secret. Su Nuanyuan, though not fully understanding the mechanics, voiced her belief in the power of Jiang Kai's profession and her admiration. Yuan Zhu, in comparison to how much weaker he is to his teammate, admitted feeling a little overwhelmed, as the differences between their own respective strength become ever more apparent, even after being someone that trained. Suddenly, the female system voice announced that level 2 normally grants players 1 profession skill, however because of the gambler trait, Jiang Kai gets 2 instead, leading him to his astonishment at the discovery of such thing. Both Nuanyuan and Yuan Zhu responded positively with admiration. The system then revealed Jiang Kai's first profession skill, Ghost Hand Flying Cards, which grants a chance of penetration when throwing items, and a large increase in effectiveness but more cost in energy with cards. His second profession skill was named Ghost Eye Concentration, which enhanced vision range, visual focus but at a cost of double energy while using it. Jiang Kai, understanding them as long-range skills, commented that he believed his class was best for someone with range. He stated that now stronger, they can all tackle stronger monsters to gain even more experience points, Nuanyuan agreeing immediately with him. Yuan Zhu grumbled but had no other real argument, so conceded the ground and seemed impressed by Jiang Kai's strength gain. 2 days later, Professor Li expressed surprise to Instructor Su that her sister's team was still alive. Su Lanlan also voiced her surprise, stating that Jiang Kai must be stronger than they expected for them to remain safe for so long. Suddenly, a man rushed in, alerting everyone that the novice trial was in imminent danger and all forces needed to prepare immediately. Another man identified as Wei Ying, the Supreme Commander of River Middle City District, telling them a massive stowaway invasion has occurred from Country L and its extremely large and unheard-of scale of invasion. Both Su Lanlan and Professor Li looked visibly shocked, prompting Wei Ying to assure the gravity of the situation. Su Lanlan internally cursed at hearing about the stowaways, knowing their reputation for hindering other countries by targeting their newcomers in novice trials with methods specific to the profession which can even make them ignore all defensive properties, which was extremely concerning for her and everyone since these types were exceptionally cruel, often trying to give negative impressions about the trials itself so newcomers don't join, and since the rule to not interfere makes everyone vulnerable against such beings. Her internal thought turned worried when she thought of how poorly Nuanyuan had trained and was not sure that her group can stand on such a threat, especially when her sister had terrible endurance. Wei Ying then ordered preparations for the mental stress of the oncoming death, as due to the invasion of the stowaway, he admitted, a no-survivor rate in the current trial was what they should expect for now since it was too severe. Jiang Kai suddenly stopped, stating he noticed something in the distance, making his companions confused because of lack of any visible entities to worry about at a glance. Yuan Zhu was further more perplexed to find out they walked directly to it. With confusion, Nuanyuan questioned his strange behavior while Jiang Kai, focusing intently using ghost eye concentration, told them to check that part out since he had an ominous feeling of what awaits him. After that and walking closer to the area, the system alerted to Jiang Kai the successful killing of a level 2 wild boar. Yuan Zhu expressed how extremely surprised he was to discover such a feat, showing disbelief about him knowing its location since they barely even arrived the place. Nuanyuan voiced her surprised, since it was of level 2 and that too she herself didn't notice at first. Jiang Kai, in response to their exclamations of disbelief, credited his new skills. The system then asked to confirm whether to take the remains. Jiang Kai accepts it while stating to himself about how the new skills can be used for, noting he knew to be powerful due to how they work with thrown item and vision. In simpler term, long-range attacks have been heavily enhanced. With level up next in his plans, he quickly made a proposition that they should move from the current position to another area to start hunting down for monster kills, making them agree promptly to him, oblivious to his hidden capabilities. Then suddenly, they were then approached by multiple individuals who suddenly appeared out of a river area, who started gloating about their luck at having found them. The team of stowaways started saying how this is the first step to completing the objective they had been given of harming all other nations by doing what they do best, killing. When prompted for his identity, the tall-masked stowaway leader made it clear that they will all fail in completing their objectives. Nuanyuan became extremely alarmed, recognizing them as stowaways whose purpose is to target newcomers while being confused why this particular team was strong, quickly mentioning her theory to the team after assessing their individual level and discovered a terrifying truth: their current adversary was above level 3. She particularly noticed and fearfully commented, the captain himself was level 5. Jiang Kai realized the gravity of the situation, acknowledging the presence of a level 5 explorer, and understood he has to split up. While inwardly calculating his odds, recognizing he's comparable to a level 4, but is not yet equal against someone so high in level like his adversary, the stowaway captain. Before his train of thought completed the action, the stowaways made their move to charge at his team. With urgency, Jiang Kai ordered his teammates to split and run, knowing they had to at least avoid fighting head-on, making it as their best tactic. Both parties agreed to it and scattered. He had now to bait all of the aggression in a way where it allows him to level. The captain mockingly labeled the whole of the region to be cowardly. The captain then decided that 2 stowaways should chase the coward who run away alone and leave the rest to torture. While in pursuit of Jiang Kai, one of the stowaways said his running looked fast. While Jiang Kai appeared to make a break to trick, the 2 behind were not fooled and continued chasing, now thinking to corner him. The stowaways expressed their sinister delight when they were going to skin, hurt, torture Jiang Kai at a pace they wanted, for all of the fun. Suddenly though, Jiang Kai had gone missing out of view. A quick moment passed, then he struck one stowaway by throwing a metal rod which immediately went through his guard and making them die instantaneously. The surprise took one of the remaining pursuers off guard. Then another followed next, to which they too were dispatched right away when their defense went through when a full-power charge Jiang Kai attack was made. He killed the stowaway using such skills so quickly the pursuer looked absolutely puzzled as to what just happened to his comrade, asking if he was okay to come find a grim truth about death right after that moment. Looking down upon the other defeated bodies, and not being afraid for being too strong compared to his enemy, it made him realize he was not what it seemed. It is then when the last of the surviving ones checks and confirmed to himself, his own values for power is low at level 3 since only around 45 stats total, which means he shouldn't stand a chance here. This led to him experiencing shock to this revelation that the newcomer had better stats values as of the current encounter before he was met to death from him. After his demise and his body disappears, Jiang Kai finally stated he had a better understanding now of the true scale of his strength and said his decision of escaping first to divide and conquer his opponent did give enough separation time to then bait the stragglers out, in order for him to level up further through slaying and looting. His plan came as it should, where the system alerted him he gained something called watch and some system properties when looting another players. This allowed for better value gains from monsters since that lootable experience is doubled and their victim had the lost one from their death. Jiang Kai proceeded to rob the experience, which lead him to another power gain, and system said he reached level 3 in short after all of the gains were looted. Jiang Kai, having looted everything from the fallen stowaways, celebrated reaching level 3. He expressed confidence that with his total attributes now at 76, he was powerful enough to handle the level 5 stowaway captain and quickly headed back to where he left his teammates. Meanwhile, the remaining stowaways were enjoying torturing Yuan Zhu and Su Nuanyuan and made fun of them of their profession for not being battle-related since they found out one was martial art and other healer profession respectively. Before things turned sour and further into brutality, the group of enemies stopped to torture, so instead of taking their lives in that instant, they intended to finish peeling their skin off in the coming action. While all these atrocities were to begin and Yuan Zhu's suffering began to peak, Su Nuanyuan anxiously questioned if Kai would truly come back to their location as the minutes went, while Yuan Zhu with optimism responded that despite of the personality issues he has around romance, Jiang Kai was the type of guy who was truly loyal to his friends even at worst conditions. Just when it was to truly peak with cruelty, multiple short thorns came and pierced them, incapacitating all except the stowaway captain. This made Yuan Zhu scream to express their savior's appearance. Then, surprised by the attack, the stowaway captain realized he couldn't perceive his enemy, which brought him some worry. His panic became ever more greater when an impossible situation that is not usually the case here, where a new unique profession appeared that gave them fear on their hearts. The stowaway leader started fleeing but wasn't as fast as what his eyes have deceived, not escaping out from the range he got, and was stopped after all with a long-range thrown object that penetrated and took the captain out instantly. This was none other than a powerful and confident Jiang Kai, stating to Nuanyuan and to the unconscious that he defeated his aggressors. Nuanyuan looked relieved to his comeback, but it came with terrible news since Yuan Zhu is nearly gone due to his wounds and nothing can make him be better in his current conditions. While showing her distress, she mentioned it is all her fault for not being able to save him with her healer abilities. Yuan Zhu, in response to both, responded with an emotional voice stating that he did see it all coming in place when help was needed as if it were guaranteed, then spoke with a tear in his eye with such optimism, saying that while this moment was where his fate is all decided, he was content with having gone thus far, but now it is time to part. Yuan Zhu, seemingly at death's door, dramatically declared his final words, expressing how great the journey had been with Jiang Kai and Su Nuanyuan. He even told his companions to work harder and said he hoped for his share of reward to be split by them while he gave his dying breaths as he closes his eyes dramatically and said he is ready for death, but, suddenly, a loud exclamation brought him to consciousness when Jiang Kai completely ignored his melodrama by suddenly threw a living but injured stowaway into his stomach. Jiang Kai calmly explained he intentionally left 6 stowaways alive and crippled so that both of his friends can be given lootable enemies to use for level. Once the upgrade hits it, they were going to have a new healed body with power gain included. Su Nuanyuan's first reaction, however, expressed surprise upon discovering that one could level up by killing other players since she thought monsters were all they got. Yuan Zhu seemed extremely ashamed at what Jiang Kai had exposed him, being dramatic for a situation when no situation was on danger. Ignoring their comments and also wanting payback, Jiang Kai jokingly suggested for Yuan Zhu and Su Nuanyuan to torture those who did it them first and show them a good example about turnabout justice in heaven before doing their actions, giving an example for people to pay up when it is due with virtuous return. The duo accepted in merriment by saying with clear hints about how excited they are for the payback with an almost cruel expression in response which was far from the kind and pure nature they expressed earlier. While those events were ongoing with new faces being the victim of a cruel type, and their screams being in the back end while being abused and looted from, something unexpected happened on a location at Country L Stowaways Research Institute where the researchers experienced the return of stowaways in distress state since some group came out saying a terrible team of monsters showed up to slaughter them. One such story being said a group from Xingyao turned the table to the point it took, and tortured them, then stole their power in return in a horrifying fashion. A superior from the region reacted with an extreme disbelief. After they concluded all what they heard and received with a state of clear confusion on what to think, they agreed it may be about some new class or profession as something was fishy. While they were worried, in Xingyao, Professor Li detected the change in watch readings from Su Nuanyuan's team and panicked a little at discovering the encounters of stowaways in the records that were being sent. Wei Ying showed his lack of hope regarding that incident due to previous records of no team surviving. To everyone's surprise, what Professor Li was about to bring up was not at their loss or deaths as they first perceived, but it was instead all-around level gains for Nuanyuan and the crew instead. Everyone in shock when she mentioned the rapid upgrading system, while everyone in agreement that it can only be achieved after slaughtering monsters or someone. So, Wei and Su began wondering about possible circumstances that are to lead on this situation. Professor Li expressed a different side of reasoning since 1. Their doctor of the team wasn't someone that is suited to battle normally, let alone if the data suggest they were not even from fights. What did really make them believe it was more on them being on a hunt of their own where data stated Nuanyuan skipped level for the second time? Then out of confusion and in need of answer, Wei yelled for them to see the results directly to his face as their next best step forward since there is not many data they can conclude on. After looking at it in a more detailed version, where one had no data like Jiang's name but the duo had level 3, they could deduce that it is nearly an impossible number unless some other person carried. And for Su and Yuan with normal class stats, there is no room to speculate as something they should even do, let alone with this short period of time, which means everything came down with Jiang as a catalyst, with the unknown stats made even more important and hard to grasp. Professor Li was however able to track why Jiang's data was inaccessible since it's modeled from a discontinued service of 10 years ago that can't go online normally, which created all kind of issues of data and connection, to which that model was the first-gen fearless kind, which gave people both bewilderment at him being an antique and intrigue into his person as that could hint to the unknown of his skills or life, and what is he even after since it's unusual behavior for newcomers with tech of the world. Wei, clearly intrigued by Jiang Kai's mysteriousness, ordered his real-world information to be collected immediately so he can have him be known once and for all, as everyone agree upon this task of bringing him to the public view for greater understanding of it all. Yuan Zhu and Su Nuanyuan expressed their joy at discovering their full health resurrection via level up, stating this newfound truth to each other in astonishment. Yuan Zhu also showed delight of learning he gained an earth-shattering ability, while also Nuanyuan now being empowered for further treatment purposes. Jiang Kai remarked at how practical Su Nuanyuan's skill seemed, prompting Yuan Zhu to become competitive, to question why their difference so vast that his power wouldn't compete to their enemies compared to him. Jiang Kai responded calmly that level 3 was still very vulnerable since even they just gained it, before showing his updated stats, which revealed that he was now level 4, leading to shock on Yuan Zhu for an amount equal to a level 8 since this was all happened on short time frame from the previous encounter with levels on single digits, which seemed absurd to comprehend as it's almost near impossible. It was his level difference so immense for all what he heard. Jiang Kai then mentioned his last few action steps that resulted with his newfound level by killing the 7 stowaways of level 2, 3, and a 5 who were also at this situation, to also explain Yuan Zhu how that massive power growth actually happens. Yuan Zhu expressed feeling annoyed and upset at the constant increase in power by their new partner, stating to himself why he can never compete against him, and when things start to go the way he expects, there's a huge comeback that changes the overall perspective about situations. When inquired about their next course of action, Jiang Kai proposed to go hunt for more stowaways from another team since the previous was not too much of challenge. Now they have grown as they were once very underpowered in previous situations. Catching Su and Yuan off guard with such drastic measure given their current power was nowhere to stand up at the high numbers of the previous situation, showing signs of fear. Jiang Kai reassured his team, noting that his own power allowed them to at least secure their own escape even if the conflict can lead to possible casualties, as their first plan is survival from all cause. Jiang Kai concluded he'll charge first with the objective of luring the team to them in order to finish the goal in that area, making everyone's eyes twitch and mouth go silent since that method they usually run. Half a day later, somewhere else, a new team of stowaways discussed how absurd the situation was about the wiping out of the other teams by the hand of newcomers. The captain decided to be cautious because it's no reason from a groundless source, it could really occur. In turn, this made the others laugh, and they made declarations they would fight anyone that is coming to harm with numbers. With that, Yuan and Nuanyuan questioned the sudden move as fear set in about facing another team with numbers as large as this. Jiang Kai calmly responded, since with the way he thinks that all will come into their control, since he knew their levels weren't that great for him to not even hold long enough to allow the evacuation to follow. He also thought of making another statement to defend new teams and people in such cases, to have no bad people who may threaten others. The stowaways did notice Jiang Kai but was completely dismissive since only a newbie at 4 levels, while their whole team are at level 5. One pointed that he may very well be the same from their previous records, as it could match on the report, which lead everyone else in acceptance since they had finally found their prey of reward, so all of them charged toward the location that the other went forward to, so they too may complete such task. Jiang Kai quickly internally noted that they are far more coordinated than the other, as he realized they maintained a defensive position unlike what it looked before from his vision, leading his previous action steps to being useless, with their line of fire in one long straight pattern, which can cause an utter catastrophe if their duo of Yuan does his Earth Shatter skill, which in turn may mean there would be leftovers escaping, making the job of complete annihilation hard. He decided that he may have to lure them more aggressively than he first wanted as a last effort, while having to take a massive gamble to cause such event, the way that this event needed his own lifebloods on the line, as the team got surprised that he came rushing straight at them from that last decision. The stowaways, initially mocking Jiang Kai, suddenly became very cautious after an action led them to get surprised by the difference on agility between levels, as some are very aware that theirs is capped low as 20 compared to Jiang with 30. They started pondering if he could really be playing some kind of deception on their way of things. Then that's where they all discover that their enemy planned out everything and the chase was always on their side since the initial lure, that it is them in a trap. A moment passed when Yuan Zhu showed himself midair with his new earth-shattering skill from his character, which made them stop moving for a brief moment and get exposed into an open line where Jiang used it to kill them all. Yuan Zhu exclaimed in utter disbelief that the level 5 team was utterly demolished right at his view, showing disbelief at such quick actions and strength that Kai displayed. It was then Jiang Kai was promoted from level 4 into level 5 in that instant, while gathering 2,000 points of experience alone in such event, having reached the level cap of that novice region where this fight is taken place, and with that there may not be many ways to go onward. While making note to himself about how to gather as much plunder from level players, especially knowing about how level up scales, he mentions to Su Nuanyuan the upper limits have reached at 5, then Yuan interjected to call out him a cheater since that's such a massive level up for just a small bit from the past, while at his case it felt he was always far behind, showing clear frustration at that difference. Jiang Kai downplayed all their responses, noting he only got that due to exploiting others' killing value. Jiang Kai reminded them he left 4 weak and low health players and asked his teammates to harvest on that event so it won't be at complete loss. Now in control, Yuan asked what are they going to do, which prompted a new change to action step in their overall strategy when he stated it would all be at their benefits as they begin to gather experience points from normal monster hunt and make a break to finish all at a more fair approach so that their team could level from normal hunt instead of just having him steal the spotlight and their points. Both Nuanyuan and Yuan expressed their consent and joy. Jiang Kai cautioned his team that, while they were now in a prime location for earning points, the monsters would become increasingly dangerous the closer they got to the finish line, even hinting that a boss could be present. Suddenly, a loud roar interrupted their discussion, leading them to the discovery of two human-faced beasts, completely mauled. Yuan Zhu, upon closer examination of the beast bodies, deduced it was the results of bite marks and nothing else, as there seemed to be no cut. Jiang Kai, using ghost eye concentration, identified a golden glow in the distance, implying a golden creature may be responsible for the recent killing and making it very worrying since such force meant great power. Both Su and Yuan immediately reacted with their own worry. Their tension skyrocketed as a small, fast and golden light-emitting rat started chasing them at high speed with clearly bad intent on harming Jiang Kai, who seemed to be its new priority target. Yuan Zhu yelled in alarm, warning about the rat's bite being fatal and was shown previously in that area from its past encounters when this little rat came chasing them. However, before any attack could land, Jiang Kai swiftly grabbed the rat without much effort. His action caught his teammates in a daze since the rat was meant to be uncatchable since it seemed so fast to react. Dismissing any claims of the creature's speed, Jiang Kai jokingly called the creature just a fat rat. Then, in his view, he stated that this rat didn't want to back off, which prompted a playful let-go action to show that that rat cannot compete with his speeds as it's all it could come up in reaction time. Yuan Zhu was shocked by the action that Jiang did and protested his idea by shouting a strong reason that all came at the cost of the risk for being bit, as that same little rat killed both of those human-faced beings. Jiang Kai, with his usual playful tone of mocking response and in a condescending tone, grabbed the rat a second time. He explained he has the superior speed compared to this creature due to his attributes making him all but uncatchable in an effortless motion. In the following moments, they could do nothing more than witness with growing eyes, as a repetitive action played itself in an unceasing motion, as if playing a loop, all happening in single seconds when this small little rat appeared to get caught repeatedly, leaving its own pride to a crushing point where they give up completely to be caught without struggle from all cause. In that moment the battle ended. After this moment of catching happened constantly till he finally accepts his own incapabilities. Jiang Kai, observing that the rat was completely subdued, humorously commented on his catch, as well as noting its ability to become a pet at the hands of someone with enough hand speeds. However, for practical usage of monsters for their gains, he proposed for now they will loot the remains, while telling both Nuanyuan and Zhu to prioritize leveling to 4, then strive to 5 from these carcasses so they may keep on level while waiting till they see action again, since the zone would become too dangerous and they needed better attributes. In all of this conversation and decision being made, Su Nuanyuan then showed a clear fascination to the small golden mouse she calls Shushu. While in a melancholic tone Yuan Zhu noted his current understanding and difference is great where the training he undertook has made no difference compared to Kai. Switching scenes to Xingyao City, a newcomer named Huang Wei, wearing a robe, expressed his joy and relief for reaching the finish line after many days of wandering, while a team of newcomers guides welcomes him to a world of explorers but stated how an individual came first already. He dismisses their comments by declaring that he is the strongest in this trial since he killed many monsters on the process, while revealing himself as Huang Wei, from a great family, and he is intended to be a part of the Xianwu Guild with pre-training experience that put them on top, and since they have some special items which was made evident by his cards which lead them to consider that it would be indeed very difficult to beat that much level even for veterans, so they stated if not by top 10 he might even be a first in whole of Xingyao's novice zone in such cases. In complete control, Huang Wei stated his name in the hopes that people would remember, since it would soon bring him to top of everything, as the ghost star itself is bound to his goals of claiming what should be his, since he did say one simple task of passing was never an obstacle to overcome in his mind and future self goals of great success. Back in the novice trial zone, Jiang Kai expressed a strange feeling that they had been moving forward for a time and no monsters seemed to be roaming in the current path. With some worry but at the same time enjoying, Su commented on her cutely rat. Jiang Kai pondered that it was all possibly linked, that they might have just made all others flee out from territory and its range of comfort, as that was also part of system of events which do bring creatures into territories for natural survival where now the path ahead seemed quite deserted. Suddenly, the appearance of large numbers of shadowless wolves, including the shadowless wolf king, surrounded the trio and gave a full alert. Yuan Zhu panicked at the sight of the boss mob, a notoriously unkillable monster from the past for many attempts in novice zone, stating this should all end now. Jiang Kai understood their precarious situation with a tone change, as their current action will dictate the flow of all events to come, while noting if it is a solo challenge he can simply flee away. He said to his teammates that the current event can only go one way. It meant for all of them that the group have to work in union to complete their task. It had only one route, which was for them to slay that very creature, the king boss type, if all is set in motion with no option of fleeing, as their options are extremely low now for safety, escape, or success. It was all a matter of one path and one path alone, prompting Yuan Zhu and Nuanyuan into an actio which lead them to do the same. With such power and abilities combined, they charged directly to the boss monster for battle, showcasing Earth Shatter skill from Yuan, while Nuanyuan add on his new gained snake venom as a debuff from it on his weaponry for a stronger strike against that beast. Kai as well combined the two skill at one from Ghost Eye and Ghost Hand flying cards, with intent on unleashing maximum power on that one being. They went directly in front to take action. However, with their greatest effort, their combination attack had barely budged the shadowless Wolf King. Jiang Kai, Yuan Zhu, and Su Nuanyuan were taken aback, noticing their attacks had barely left a mark on the Wolf King. As the wolves went into a frenzy, Su showed that it was a group attack. In disbelief, Yuan Zhu questioned what other options do they have in order to finish the job, if fighting altogether on same target did no difference. Jiang Kai, realizing their attacks were too ineffective for how the boss seemed impenetrable even for all their efforts put in and their combined skills and powers, considered that any methods wouldn't suffice this moment as the normal approaches failed. But while all these internal thoughts were being said, it made him then made a turn on a change of focus when the rat woke up with rage. Seizing the moment that the Shushu ran in full throttle and began a biting barrage at their boss the Wolf King while using his ghost eyes to look deeper as that scene was passing slowly. That was where it made him look at it clearly for an alternative solution, that his high mental ability has come to show an opening point which has appeared where it showed signs of fur separation due to sharp rat's bit mark. With such an epiphany that weak spot has finally made, it allowed him a point of action for more aggressive follow-up which can bypass that defense in such situation while yelling a battle cry for the group with confirmation his theory is indeed in act. His words rang and made sense, but that did not follow to his action because his attack this moment caused a crit by his sheer random luck. And with that very beast died right away after being pierced and the body roasted to ash from such immense number multiplier. Su Nuanyuan could do nothing else besides looking baffled and stating Kai just hit, which all made the others shocked in disbelief in terms of strength, which made it very hard for them to accept given its nature so unbelievable. Immediately following their kill, a notification of accomplishment rung in Jiang Kai, saying he took down such threat, making the wolf pack go into disarray. Jiang Kai mentioned with self-aware response to such thing with his internal words. A sudden turn made from Kai as his eyes laid to his teammates, mentioning they have many to kill now, as they can slaughter that wolf pack, while saying not to spare anyone, as what should happen to creatures who harm. Yuan and Su fully agreed on that request as their face and actions started changing. After their triumphant victory against the Wolf King, Su Nuanyuan and Yuan Zhu celebrated while Jiang Kai reminded them to gather the remaining low-health wolves for extra loot. Yuan Zhu was clearly very happy when he found out that was the end of their struggles. And now at full swing, Jiang Kai said next was to follow the track towards the exit while using the time to grab more extra points with this as their final stretch. A few hours later they all arrived and reached Qingyao City. Su was impressed at its grandeur, then noticed the absence of the small rat called Shushu, who they have come to make as one of them. While her question were on play, Jiang calmly respond that all was well as their fate to one another has to play as destiny guides their next steps. They went onward towards the novice trial and reception hall. Inside, a newcomer guide named Xia Tao congratulated all of them. Jiang Kai inquired about the newcomer rankings, which then was quickly followed by a sudden interjection from Huang Wei. He made a snarky remark upon recognizing his family's own servant participating into trial, and said he will give it all to be revealed at his hands. Jiang then also mentions they have encountered and interacted while with deep dislike for him. Huang Wei proceeded to reveal a ranking table to show his superior placement at the top of the chart with clear sign of mockery. While showing their bottom placing on the ranking, the other onlookers laughed at them and called them losers with no points in their hands. Then a dark feeling was coming from Jiang. It led to an anger to be revealed with how he mentioned that Huang has been mistreating his family on Earth and how his power made them in a situation where he will exploit others. Yuan Zhu became very defensive on such tone, which prompted Jiang to speak on to the full hall of present individuals, that he will rearrange the ranking that is set in place now, guaranteeing a top spot for them all, which was met to disbelief and mockery. The people called Jiang insane and recommended he take help in his mental issues before showing further action. Jiang in clear tone said it was time to drop all the act and reveal what they have been holding as cards, which his teammates showed signs of great excitement in response to his words. They proceeded to showcase massive collection of monster bodies they had accumulated over their trials. The hall became completely silent to what it just saw. The others were astounded at the collection, with bodies of multiple type of all varieties of the level from human to wild wolf creatures they did claim were the strongest, while Huang also did stated the fact that even he saw the Wolf King, but these are claiming to defeat something of impossible odds in that location, as that is clearly what is impossible. The hall were now staring in disbelief. Then at a blink, they all were reminded that they must check the updated table results, as everyone in hall started looking for it, and that is where everyone including a smug Huang fell in shock and disbelief at the updated chart, as not only were they the top 3, but completely took over the entire board, where even the first place of Huang got demoted to bottom due to their overwhelming power from what they have accumulated on such time frame. Jiang Kai, with a sly smile, questioned if the ranking was truly final. He then revealed the looted watches from the stowaways, asking if those could be added to their points, which everyone initially did not believe and called as lies. Then Huang Wei became the biggest advocate for such theory, saying they must be lying and they are scamming with all sort of malicious intent behind them, while also declaring no one on the novice area saw anyone from that description. A deputy commander named Lu Jun of River Middle City Military suddenly appeared to make an announcement. Lu Jun acknowledged that the appearance of stowaways was indeed real, mentioning how he was ordered by his superiors to reward Jiang Kai, because their discovery to slay them was all real, which proved it with high authority that all that has occurred has all been real. The hall was completely astounded that a figure so powerful did all but approved, making Huang panic from all this sudden change on the table. Lu Jun announced that because of Jiang Kai's contribution in resolving the stowaway situation, the military has made the unprecedented decision to upgrade their rewards from A to S tier for Jiang and those at B grade to be at A for the duo, in their respect positions. That single news was another bomb that dropped over the entire location and audience, as it made all known that such quality items were something only for dreams of the best, as from now on their equipment level was something no others should be even compared with in that novice area, and most importantly, completely dwarfed Huang, who thought he had won it all with that alone. This new reveal was completely shocking to Huang Wei and others, as they could not accept such results since it's from an inferior being that he could never see as an equal nor above him. Enraged, Huang started claiming it's unfair, that they were inferior. He then began insulting Jiang's family while expressing that there was a very dark action he can do to his sisters still under his command. Jiang calmly warned Huang not to continue the insult. Ignoring that advice, and that too when everyone were witnessing, Huang decided to mock Jiang more specifically, that they were always a pariah family, while reminding his sister still works under him, making her a target. He also began bragging on about his sick brother for additional insult. Huang added how he could rape her, given that is her place as his servant girl, with malicious tone for all his listeners. At this final and terrible moment where all the worst traits were showed from the core of who Huang is, Jiang did not hesitate at that moment. He quickly retaliated with a swift attack, completely overwhelming his defenses in that single strike. The crowd stood silent in shock at witnessing the speed at which this happened at their own eyes. The onlookers were aghast, realizing Jiang Kai had just attacked someone from the prestigious Huang family. Huang Wei, wounded and humiliated, questioned the sheer audacity of the action, but Jiang Kai coldly responded that he would not let anyone threaten his family, especially not in those terrible end times. His declaration ended with a fatal blow, killing Huang Wei. A notification was shown that he did gain something from the slaying, but that value was too poor. The other newcomers were shocked at such bold action from a newcomer, particularly from the Huang's family, and how influential and large the forces of it could cause on any given individual. Lu Jun, observing all this unfold, subtly stated that although reckless, he displayed great courage and was exactly the type of person the higher-ups were seeking. He dismissed the situation as a case of self-defense initiated by Huang and said they are now done, so everyone may dismiss as something that happened in the past for everyone's sake. Lu Jun then invited Jiang Kai and his teammates to come with him and collect their rewards for their hard work. Yuan Zhu exclaimed his admiration and called how powerful of display from Jiang. Then Su echoed and used strong term of domineering in her tone as her own point on how she understood it. Jiang thanked Lu for this opportunity to receive such reward. Later, they were each given their respective boxes to open. Su Nuanyuan's box revealed a life jade, which Lu Jun described as perfect starting equipment for doctors. Yuan Zhu's contained a black rock rhino leather armor, increasing his strength and defense. When Jiang Kai opened his box, it came with an issue needing an ID card to reveal it. To everyone's shock, as they never seen one such need, it then shows just how rare item it was meant to be, as Lu also acknowledged that high-tier items had such features normally for its quality. Lu happened to have some extra identification cards and handed to Jiang. When the card was used, a description appeared of the weapon. It was a S-class weapon boosting multiple stats, and a special effect where each attack increased crit rate and damage, then resets after a crit. Lu Jun and Yuan Zhu acknowledged the weapon as not as good for a new player since it's more for late game, since high crit damage is best when you already are strong. As such, he offered to change to any another if needed, which prompted Su Nuanyuan to question also as something that should occur for best result. Then suddenly Jiang said he doesn't want to change as he really desires to take this one and have it from now on, putting an end to this situation since his mind was already at set. Jiang Kai explained his reasoning behind choosing the seemingly lackluster S-tier weapon, noting that his critical hit damage was not just doubled, but 200 times greater than normal. He admitted, however, his critical hit rate was extremely low and can become a huge detriment, which makes fighting very hard as it's a major weakness in his build. He then explained how the special effect of the 9 Tribulations Life Chaser was perfect, giving him 10% to crit chance to every stack up to a very high point of almost all the time is critical on 9 stack, which is perfect to bypass all weakness and turn it into his strengths, making that choice his absolute must-have for progression, and no substitutes can ever do it as such, given the value it brings is only unique to his current build and kit. Lu Jun, accepting his reasoning, agreed to not change the item and said for them they have completed the novice trail and can go to Earth if they desire, but with a note. Lu Jun advised him that he might get some visitors upon returning to Earth from people who he may or may not had meet or make enemies of in his way on that novice island, while giving him some warning to always keep his guard up. Back on Earth, in Xingyao Kingdom's river middle city shantytown, Jiang Kai rode his bike home, full of anticipation to see how his brother and sister would react to news of his success at the novice trial. He notices unusual expensive car passing through as something unexpected in such area. Upon entering his home, he called for his brother and sister in full excitement, only to be met by a group of unfamiliar individuals led by Huang De, Huang Wei's older brother. Jiang Kai recognized him and asked for his business, to which Huang Da's crew began attacking him from every side, making him be caught while Huang De himself brought his bat. Huang De then revealed that Huang Wei had to get some medical help and could not go to Ghost Star at the moment since all the damage and hurt from being defeated by a newcomer like Jiang took a toll in his psychological state of mind. Huang Da's final message before going into a brutal assault was, since they were those who have been bullying others, then there cannot be any exception for what their family should receive in return to their family actions, saying it can lead Jiang Kai to end up being offline permanently since he did the same to their family, leaving their team in disbelief. Right before Huang De could strike, the door flew open, revealing Wei Ying and Su Lanlan, who rushed in to save him. Wei Ying expressed his disbelief that Jiang didn't take the warning of returning home seriously, as that's what he always is expected to do. Su Lanlan interjected with a loud command, revealing her military affiliation, which completely shocked Huang Da's crew. Wei Ying declared they were there for Jiang Kai and were going to punish those who targeted him as well for it, making Huangda to panic at the turn of events since not even his name has a grasp on this new development, leading them all to be arrested by them in order to show the authority they have over Huang's forces. Jiang Kai was shocked at how a high figure like the commander would come and support him after what just occurred. Wei Ying calmly assured him and mentioned his performance during the novice trial, as it was exceptionally impressive. He also revealed that Yuan Zhu and Su Nuanyuan were invited into military for joining, which made Jiang Kai stunned with how they all did separate actions outside of what he thought. Wei Ying then told Jiang Kai the true purpose of their visit. It was because of his unique new profession that they sought after him, as it showed huge possibility for growth and their own interest and gains out of it. Su Lanlan then further explained the current situation of the world and of such professions and why there is such interest on Jiang by making note on how some profession does start powerful and strong, but with progression and more training all of that just turns into trash and something that is completely useless, where there seems no more value in such kind in that field, which left many out of job or having low performance issues. That made her bring the real point. Their hope to use and find strong fighters is all for the goal of exploring new professions for stronger battle, and if Jiang could show and join them, it was all going to bring value. Wei Ying added it wasn't compulsory, and he knew Jiang went to the Ghost Star to pay medical fees for his brother, where then a bargain was made to make all his family protected under their roof and fund his brother's medical fees if he agreed to their proposal. Wei told him to think it over and come to meet Su for a formal acceptance. Jiang Kai politely turned them down completely, which left everyone completely flabbergasted at the words they just heard. Jiang Kai clarified that he knew the value of the opportunity given, but because of that and past events he must decline it, as his choice of progress will not be on some team, since such method is too unstable and easily exploitable. From his analysis, since not all profession had growth as much as they thought that each profession has at certain stages on development. He pointed out how, in the past, the military heavily valued the drunkard profession but later discarded them, and they were left with nothing because its value dropped off completely, and he showed some propaganda image which made it very clear of what happened, so he would not make the same mistake as others. He also commented on how he got so careless this day, which allowed the Huang's family attack. As all the attention was focused on his skills, he overlooked their personal problems, and that won't happen ever again. Jiang stated their focus was to leave the place controlled by the Huang and stay in a secure space without help, as that was more than enough help and protection from what they were aiming to have, and expressed deep gratitude for them for stopping what could have been a terrible occurrence, while also implying that such support has to be paid back if there was no personal goal in such offers. Finally, he concluded, they would be taking their destiny into their own hands, not relying completely on the protection of others. Su Lanlan was very shocked with such answer, given how rare a new profession could change things. It was more than him that his decision should have taken care more responsibility with the whole world to keep the humanity safe, since they could really benefit if there was a new kind of powerful skill in action, but at the end of the day he is just worried to keep his family safe. Jiang apologized and noted he only had intention to protect his own family. Wei Ying, acknowledging Jiang Kai's firmly set mindset, stated it was fine, and he understood the habits formed over more than 10 years were very hard to change, and they cannot be rushed like that at a moment's notice. However, he added the fact that Jiang had very little time with his brother in relation to his own terminal situation, and for him to consider that he may not be able to tackle problems all alone given how big these issues have been set. So, to that conclusion, Wei Ying suggested a bet between the two, where he would protect his family from Huang's forces for a month to see if he could collect all the needed sum to pay for his brother's needs and prove he has power for protection purposes. If he succeeds, then he doesn't need to join them, but if he fails, then he must abide to his requirements of joining the military, while Wei will be the one taking all the debts for the brothers' bills to be solved at an instant. After deep pondering over it, Jiang accepted the bet and began prepping up as fast as possible to return to Ghost Star to be on par to that objective set by his opponent. While taking off, he left note for both of them in his living quarters, where he stated that it is now clear he had passed the novice trial. He also noted that he will have to be back to gather a higher level security, as his home was not at that security grade, while adding that he knows that they had to be separated temporarily for him to meet such objective. Back at Ghost Star's Xingyao City, Jiang Kai, now prepared, thought that after passing novice trials, his real adventure in Ghost Star has begun in such big words. He stated that as a new adventurer in such place, his path for money-making all lies in killing monsters, and to that objective he made his changes to his current gear in the trading area to match what has been set and made all preparations to proceed, but that all has a catch. If newcomer wanted to make it big or simply have survivability, then they would need a guild to get protection, since their monsters are very hard for solo players, making most of them die on the process. He then proceeded to head to those kinds of places to start his new career, but was quickly met to a sad realization that his action had left him with more repercussions than gains. All those guilds had declined him, stating that his prior issue had left them to blacklist him due to his offense at the Huang family. It was because that action was deemed bad for all who were watching, and now those in the same range do not want anything that might lead them to ruin, so there was no opening as all the doors had been closed at him, leaving him in dismay. At the outskirts of Xingyao City safe zone, Jiang Kai seemed defeated as he said to himself that adventure ended just when it was about to begin. Then out of nowhere a girl that seemed like a fortune teller approaches him, making a deal to make a prediction that can make the best choice, and the cost is very low. After rejecting her proposal initially, she made an offer where it will be free fortune telling, while describing that that will be a good way to make the test of their skills work, since the offer was too high to give any customer. Jiang Kai, after deep pondering, decided to give in. After hearing that, the fortune teller, with such great focus, declared his current issue is very dangerous and he should choose a certain place that will benefit from it to better himself, as she suggested for him to go to the Valley of the Kings. Jiang Kai reflected on Hu Yan's advice, noting that while he was in danger from the Huang family, the safe zone offered protection. He further analyzed his options. The Ash Plains, a popular starter area, was likely to be compromised with Huang's forces, while the Victoria Peak Road, meant for higher levels, was just a sure death trap for a level 5 like him. He deduced that Valley of the Kings was the best option at the moment, as it was above the level of a beginner zone, which could bypass the common target areas where their assassin can just camp and be unnoticed, thus leading to a higher safety zone. It was not likely they would prepare for a strike in a zone so hard. He finally concluded that since the Huang family would not allow him to join a guild, he would challenge the Ghost Star on his own to showcase their foolishness. He thanked Hu Yan quickly for her advice, then went running toward the direction that she recommended. Hu Yan was stunned at Jiang Kai's decision. She couldn't believe he would actually venture into such a dangerous place alone as a newcomer, even if there were some degree of safety in terms of danger to him because he was in a solo adventure rather than a party. But the survival rates were significantly low to almost a zero value, as those monsters are made for more players and they could die in an instant. She dismissed it, not wanting to be bothered, and hoped he wouldn't bother giving her any bad reviews. Jiang Kai arrived at the Valley of the Kings, observing how high the quality and difficulty of monsters, and of how well prepared such party is for those beasts were on display for his vision, and that those party had an insane teamwork that was amazing and unique, which he too wished to achieve, but suddenly his senses began tingling to the danger of creatures in a nearby vicinity. He was immediately face to face with 3 giant black apes, all level 11, appearing out of nowhere. He quickly realized he was now cornered into an enemy territory. A nearby squad of 4, all level 10, finally finished killing 1 giant black ape and suddenly caught wind of some chaos in a different direction to their location, and what they witnessed left them surprised beyond a single person could ever do, and when they looked closer, they were also fighting 3 beasts that are normally meant for an army group. One of the squad members mentioned such bizarre occasion in panic to his squad captain, suggesting a rescue. The captain declined swiftly, saying the lone individual was simply arrogant in making such reckless mistake, and that was at no fault from others beside them. Also, if they were to do a save, they would be pulled into danger where it would cause them death from such creatures they barely could even fight individually, so fleeing is the only course of action to secure the survival of all those whom are in that party. The squad captain was beyond shocked at witnessing Jiang Kai effortlessly slaying a level 12 giant black ape. Another squad member also expressed his shock and terror at such feat, at such quick action. Then followed the death of a level 13 ape. To also his surprise, it seems that every single strike is more than enough to end the fight at this rate, Jiang quickly responded how his method of damage is that on each attack the rate and damage of crit becomes ever more stronger, while at first is not that impactful, but on the 5 to above, there is almost no chance for his attacks to not be an instant critical, which was always the reason why the other before him dropped in an instant. Even after such event, they were still in awe about how Jiang has taken it all down with such effortless way. At a state where teams could not get it done all at the same time, the crew then noted the power difference between them. Another squad member voiced that the final Black Ape, a level 14, would be much harder, even when that one also got quickly defeated by Jiang, where he stated he only has 3 more swords left, but he knows if he uses that in a all-in type of situation his crit is all but a guaranteed kill, thus using every last bit of what remained to his weaponry to make that into a reality. They all watched as the third and strongest giant Black Ape got killed without much issue, thus realizing and acknowledging their errors by witnessing a display like such and realizing what kind of monster is the man they encountered to. They agreed that this is the sign of master for his skill, with their own leader as the worst on their list given what they made him do. Jiang Kai, relieved and tired, noted he had 3 corpse cards now and acknowledged it wouldn't be that hard to keep on pushing further if he played his cards right. He swiftly left the location, leaving those squad members to cry over that single loss, since now their master had gone, as he left all in disbelief in terms of power. That was also made worse by the captain when the blame of holding such man fell on his choice of non-help on the situation, since if he didn't, he might be on good terms by now. Meanwhile, in the Ash Plains, members of the Huang family's notorious Falcon squad captured Hu Yen, demanding to know Jiang Kai's location. Hu Yen, threatened, reluctantly told them about the Valley of the Kings. They are from level 20 from Huang's family, making it all the more frightening and powerful. Others who witnessed their encounter feared for Jiang Kai's fate, as that's one of the deadliest squads the family owned, and that boy was good as dead at the hands of such great forces that are heading his way. But Hu Yen, showing her cunning mind, mumbled her prediction while smirking, stating that since those guys were being impolite, she didn't tell the truth, since now their fate had changed dramatically by using his location. One day later, in the Valley of the Kings, Jiang Kai, now level 6, rejoiced after defeating 16 giant black apes. He now knew that with enough focus and farm all of his goals were close to being realized given his current rate of loot that was gained, all while remembering his brother. He then was approached by another team. The team leader invites Jiang to help on their current hunt, since all that they are lacking is one last person that can aid in that mission, since they needed 4 people and his skills seemed to fit in their team. He mentioned by taking their offer they would also get reward in points, where those can be redeemed into item from the elite chest. Jiang Kai was told his job would be to lure away one of the 4 elite giant black apes guarding an elite treasure chest. While acting confused, Jiang Kai knew this was some kind of a trap, since the value on that treasure would not be equal to the number of people that will be on the job, which meant they are doing a setup to keep his reward minimal or non-existent while risking all that effort on their plan by luring out one and after getting the loot, leaving him out. Jiang Kai knew his own position was shaky, where he could just accept and run, but then his team that they could backstab him, which in turns mean an automatic death. And so there was no option but to accept the invite for safety purposes, since that ship is a ticking time bomb that cannot be refused. He agrees with a fake smile and said he was okay for it to work. He went ahead with their plans by going into the position of a target to draw one black elite ape away from its post. The team members, clearly excited, celebrated Jiang Kai successfully luring the elite giant black ape, while their team leader told everyone to start an all-out fight where the winner takes all, since now everyone could go all out without needing to focus their attention on saving their companions on that location. Jiang Kai internally cursed their greedy and calculating approach at how that made him now a target for everyone, since their plans are made for maximum gain with minimum lose, while acknowledging he wasn't any normal fighter, and that he is ready to surprise them when they come with all their might to target for all what that greed could achieve. And so in that moment he managed to kill an elite-level giant black ape and said he managed to accomplish his goal with that attack that he made with his critical. This was enough for him to proceed at their plans and enter that cave without further action, which they will have to go and do by killing others. Jiang Kai, after reaching the cave's location, acknowledged that his current task went all well without major issues since he took out the target monster while obtaining their corpse in a process and for the current time the elite treasure chest before his vision, a thing he thought would make his money problems all go away once it's been opened since he went from a poor guy to now being almost at top. He suddenly felt the power and sound of a great roar from behind. Upon further look, discovered a level 20 elite black ape blocking all possible exit. This put a great fear into his mind because he was starting to think their plan was all about trapping him from this new discovered enemy, but the other were actually on an equal struggle as if this monster was never meant to be defeated from that location, so there were too many details he could not put to rest from a simple thought. A system message announced that the new monster was an Earth Elemental Elite Giant Black Ape and stated that this foe was at a dangerous level. Its clear intent was to guard what lies beyond. With his mind clear, he knew running would cause some terrible repercussions and that the best thing for now is to do a fight head-on. As his first attacks commenced, he understood from the notification system's alert how low his penetration rate is, where 9 point for piercing was simply nothing against a 23 defense point. Realization struck as that all seemed similar to Wolf King's situation where he first needs to find a way to make them weak, but before he could continue pondering that idea, the elite giant ape punched him, sending him crashing into a wall. Jiang Kai felt a wave of pain coursing through his body, acknowledging the significant difference in strength, thinking death was near. Jiang Kai, while battling the agonizing pain, realized the dire consequences of death on Ghost Star, as it meant he would not able to access this location for months and will lose his agreement and potentially force them all into military power and protection. While in such despair, he said he was giving up as he is getting too sleepy. A flashback occurred where Zhang's brother appeared in scene and told him that he will do all that is possible to help him get away from such chaos that both of them were facing when they both were badly wounded. Remembering his promise, he shook himself awake, stating that his elder brother had risked his own life to protect his sibling when they were younger, so he will not fall here so soon. He began his fight all over again. A system message then alerted everyone of his accomplishment as a level 20 monster has been put down. The newfound power and resolve from past memories helped him understand that there is weakness to these foes, as his new understanding about defense system was fully discovered, where it showed his attack has its flaws, but that didn't matter as the method to use was discovered to be by passing the defense via inner mouth or by a specific way to cause damage first, by weakening their skin as to not fully exploit what makes them powerful. With his mind fully made, he concluded and that the treasure chest is all that matters as he got into position to get such loot. Half an hour later, the team he tricked celebrated their victory. Some praised that they could finish such boss monsters with ease, given that that man took all the credit, which led the team captain to declare that the plan went well since now they don't have to split their reward. As they entered the cave, they discovered that all of the loot is gone. Another member remembered seeing him going in the cave, so they suspected that was his intention. While the other teammates said that it should be impossible for that person to even survive in that area, but now they discover the complete opposite of what they were hoping for, as if that situation is not real at the moment. They all began to be angered and began to curse. They also showed how all of their reward is meaningless because a certain individual played them like a fool on a grand scale, when suddenly, the teammate was demanding his monthly fees from the leader due to his overpromise on loot, to which his only reply was to curse more on all the turn of events. Meanwhile, at a different location within the Valley of Kings, Jiang Kai, making sure he's far away enough, began inspecting the treasure he had acquired. Jiang Kai, ecstatic at his successful loot, revealed multiple ores and pieces of equipment from the treasure chest. He was especially excited when he found a glove-like equipment and immediately tried it on, noticing his movements became lighter and stronger. Testing its attack function, he found out it generated ordinary flames onto his weapon. He became disappointed when he said, from his knowledge of Ghost Star, that the ordinary fire did little damage with only 10 HP, which means his current gear will only help in cooking rather than battle due to the current power differences and what the gloves were capable of delivering from this equipment. Suddenly, Jiang Kai heard the roars of 4 Earth Elemental Elite Giant Black Apes, all at level 18, much more stronger than the apes he was battling minutes ago with high difficulty, which made him think that those were from a higher class than what they are. A system notification revealed the new monster's type and their dangerous status. Jiang Kai then questioned why all these bad situations was happening to him so often, when a strange thought popped into his mind that the gloves were the cause of these turn of events due to their fire release ability he recently tested as he got ambushed by those creatures, putting his life in peril as he barely won against a solo, and the new encounter seemed not at all like something he can challenge given the strength differences are not minor at this stage. With all of that said, he went ahead in hopes for similar approach, but those beasts seems to have all the experience to overcome their greatest weakness, which now makes them an unstoppable force, as now they would all be very careful with their mouths as not to get tricked like the previous. His attacks proved futile because of the same defensive problem. This time he could no longer bypass it since it was now their strategy to keep closed and safe at all costs. It was a dire situation as his plan had a terrible flaw where now it seems like his destiny was here and to die now for the grave mistake that he created at this current time. And before Jiang could fully contemplate the end, he discovered, in shock, his flames from that last weapon action was now not a small thing but had created a chain reaction of uncontrolled fire surrounding his area. Jiang Kai was baffled and then astounded when he observed that the ordinary flame, which did very little damage on its first initial hit, was causing all his elite ape foes to die all at the same time due to its ability to grow in power after a delay. He was questioning himself out loud by re-examining the mechanics of his abilities. He quickly made the connection to his 200 times crit damage and came to the epiphany that his glove had somehow gained the power to turn his 200 times crit value to a flame effect, which now meant a chain reaction as it had such a power, which could deal such a large value of 2000 damage per second with no known limits, so long as it spreads onto more targets. His expression soon turned from surprise into pure joy at this new discovery, as he knew how big this means to his future plans since, as he stated before, if defense of an opponent becomes useless and he can reliably spread his flame into a single target and watch them burn with such power, then it was all in all the best weapon that was ever so destined for his build. Later that night, the Valley of the Kings experienced something never before seen by its residents when it was then shown a being that was capable of turning any monsters of all variety into fried frogs with his hands using simple-looking flames as weapons. They had also witnessed how ruthless that being was when everything in his sight got turned into ashes without holding any stops nor mercy. The whole map felt as if they were on some hellscape where only a bloodlust and desire of power is shown, as if a devil had come to take claim for all existence of this world. With a twisted and terrifying laugh, Jiang Kai proclaimed that all is for his gain while making everything turn into ashes. The next day in the Valley of the Kings, Jiang Kai was now level 7 from how many foes he slayed during his night hunt. He was very content in knowing that his glove was extremely efficient in terms of group combat with all his newly found abilities, while thinking about how great the harvest will be for his gains and all the riches in front of his hand for the new day in sight. While admiring what he had come to gain, he also came to a halt and realized a sad reality. His newfound power was not all that it should be, as the day without his friend felt so very empty. He thought of Zhu and Nuanyuan, wishing that they too have such fortune, while also in a state of belief since the duo are part of the military as of now, so they must be in a far greater situation than him. Meanwhile, at another part of the Valley of Kings, his teammates Yuan Zhu was seen with an angered state and in disbelief, as the place is as barren and desolate as the previous and that no sign of creatures exist anymore due to unknown force. Nuanyuan looked saddened at this newfound location while she expressed how she misses their old partner who did help their team gather a lot of loot at an absurd rate, with each teammates agreeing. Their instructor, a level 38 cavalry named Li Biao, told both of them to stop the nonsense and stop using bad words to belittle themselves, while he also expressed that he made an action that could have ended them if they ever dared to challenge the map when their level and experience is not enough, while being fully unaware on the state of their previous teammate and how powerful he has grown, adding all of that on top to continue moving onward in search for something to give those group battle, since that was their first objective to all. Both Yuan Zhu and Nuanyuan agreed, but also stated that their feeling were still strong about wanting to see him at least once more in their lifetime. 3 days later, at the Valley of the Kings, some adventurers commented that they are finding too many ordinary giant black apes. They knew something has caused the map to be mostly depleted with elite monsters, all while others seem to share the opinion of how bad it feels to only fight trash mob over and over again. Some groups bragged that it was an easy feat to farm those monsters. Then the group with the yellow hair boy also made the claim of previous sightings of a great god who was slaying monsters all alone, while others dismissed their claims by saying that level doesn't matter if it's by one individual only, while also expressing that their gear level was higher from the rest. Then another member from their group prompted for anyone seeing or knowing about someone who fit description of Jiang, to which another of their crew finally confirmed, since such being was at near sight during a location he recently left before, and said if they all look at the valley exit they would most likely find him in such zone. Upon hearing the name of the previous target with high detail given, the Huang family members seemed greatly amused and made a swift move towards that location, as now all will finally be resolved. All while claiming that it is time to get to action. Other adventurers that witnessed their exchange all believed that whoever was the target of that encounter could very well be close to death. As to the forces of that squad, they said if that individual was anything, they were a low-key hermit type of person. They also predicted that what will occur now was just going to end with nothing but death, since now the enemy had appeared with great force. At the exit of the Valley of the Kings, groups of adventurers were complaining about a sudden lack of monsters, which then started a claim by one of their members by mentioning that something could have occurred in that place, since everyone did heard from other sources that a fire had caused that to occur. Jiang Kai, meanwhile, was looking at his system stats, satisfied as he had finally reached level 10 and acquired 19 elite treasure chests. He was planning to return to Xingyao City to sell everything and achieve his target as soon as possible as to his promise. He was suddenly interrupted by a loud voice, belonging to members of the Falcon squad, as they were very hostile upon spotting their target at their location. Jiang Kai, recognizing their affiliations, questioned if they were sent by the Huang family, which they quickly and eagerly responded that that indeed is the fact, since he made enemies when they tried to attack his team and their brother at their locations. They then stated the reason is their hate over the prior event on the novice area, where Huang did end up at terrible location because of what they described as lowly action from them. They quickly took action and stated it's time for them to deliver the revenge of their superior over him, as they attacked him while still at a conversational state. Jiang calmly responded by questioning if they were sure to commit these actions, since it's clear Huang was on the wrong. However, his words fell on deaf ear, since their main objective was to get the bounty over all, showing how bad their moralities were set. Jiang, now feeling he doesn't need to hold anything, stated that they chose the wrong path, so all of this will fall onto them for such foolish actions. The members of the Falcon squad began to laugh, seeing his small flames, questioning the power of such act. Then proceeded with mocking responses that was very dismissive as to his powers, to an extent that they questioned if they even need to send such great squads, since that is what even beginners could create on a whim, and that those skills might have been only good to light a cigarette and nothing else. Jiang Kai then stated that his fire might not be strong now, but he can still work to make it all, but that with such low damages as they have seen, would still change dramatically, and he also added, what if I could do a bit more power over it? The ordinary flames from Jiang Kai suddenly surged in power, inflicting a massive 2000 HP damage, causing the Falcon squad members to cry out in agony and fear, completely in shock, as that ordinary flame was all they needed to be destroyed. A system notification alerted everyone of how all of Falcon Squad 5 were defeated and how all the experience gained from those elite forces were now in the control of the new level gainer, as Jiang was able to obtain the loot and also use their power to further his own gains. The adventurers at the exit were completely stunned when they saw that a single person had wiped out an entire elite squad from the Huang family, one of which stated that it was such shocking feat with a disbelief. Another then stated that they have never seen a photo more fake-looking than that single moment where a person took down top-level teams all at the same time, with his final point being about how no one seems to understand who he is due to the unusual power. That all came down to a single realization. They finally came to the conclusion that the individual must be a high-ranked god who came to play with them to see how they will perform, as they had witnessed someone's full power being unleashed against his enemies at such a clear state for all to see. Jiang Kai, having gained 2 more levels, then realized his system was also preventing any external readings from his stat values because his gambler class bonuses are too high to calculate, with no comparison between a normal player and what he achieved so far, as that stat system does not account for such large numbers at the same level, then added how this new development can be used to his advantage so those would no longer target him from his growth since it remains a mystery. At the item trading office, in Shangyao City, Jiang Kai greeted the employee with his usual manner. The trading desk employee was quite annoyed since they had been waiting for some new customers who can pay for the many items that they have for selling, and Jiang looked more like a poor newcomer instead. Jiang Kai then stated he had multiple items to sell and a list was displayed all at once with a massive collection of what he obtained from his hunt, including dozens of giant black ape corpses and 19 elite treasure chests. The employees suddenly became wide-eyed with disbelief, changing their demeanor as they now witnessed his great client in action as they were in a mad need of help to achieve the target of the day, and this man before his eyes was their savior. In this moment, the employee made a promise to himself that they would go beyond and back all to ensure a big sale with great rewards for their own self and to see how much money is possible in this exchange. The trading desk employee, after completing her calculations, excitedly announced that Jiang Kai's loot was worth 180,000 ghost star coins. Jiang Kai was stunned. He exclaimed with deep disbelief over the sheer amount of credits, where 1 credit can exchange 10 Shengyao coins, which resulted in 1.8 million total in money, and it was finally happening. His primary goal, which was to save his big brother as that will cover all the expenses, plus his deal with Commander was going to be a non-issue, which leads him to a freedom he sought. With the deal done and ready to log out, he wanted to get home. But suddenly, the fortune-telling lady came rushing in as she had discovered his name when a discussion occurred on what will occur if her predictions turn to reality. This came after remembering a very similar situation occurred on the previous area. Then in panic mode she tried to grasp his attention by stating the fact he used her free services and that she might have been on the ball by recommending such locations since such good value does not come without sacrifice, so all her effort of planning all seemed to pay out since the new events lead for greater returns all around. Then Jiang gave a thanks to her help, which quickly leads her to an immediate offer. To which she said, the previous interaction was all for one single thing. It was for her to join his team. This prompted an immediate denial of it to a swift turn. Hu Yen, completely taken aback, expressed deep frustration. She bemoaned her fate, as she saw herself as useless given how her job was all but a mockery since it was a useless military class with no potential for anything, while also remembering the hard and very tough days where she did her best to reach to a high level only to receive her job role, which then lead to another problem, that being she was at high level with useless role. That was why no team ever sought her out, and since that was the truth, she decided that if her next life is set, it should not be of a gamer, which is why she must retire with no money and just get to another life at some menial labor which will give them a steady but hard income. Jiang Kai then noticed a connection, since that was the reason why he wanted to get onto this world with that similar mentality where they tried all but failed in those tasks, making their family broken, and also to provide better and safer life to those who depend on them. He was reminded of his older brother's similar attitude during their childhood, how he chose to stay back to provide safety to them, which did cause great mental trauma to him in the past, where that dream for such family was crushed. When all was being said, Hu Yen offered her items for free in desperation for him to receive all of them, while also saying her final goodbye to the world that has given nothing for them since their career was meant for more of support, which was very hard to gain on a solo playthrough given how these worlds are set. Before anything was done or said as a final goodbye, Jiang Kai called back and revealed that his logging out is not permanent. He then promised if their destinies align together in the future they should do a team up, as he knows from his life experience alone does not lead a fulfilling or joyful journey, and it is better with help of people around. That led a shock from Hu Yen, who believed that this stingy man was so stingy about money, and yet he said something he did not need to, leading her to grab him from behind and expressing her happiness for such good word. She then also acknowledged his new personality trait and said he is very kind with her tone, to which Jiang responded confused as of why all of that is set now and why she has made such remark about what he did, given he simply wanted a teammate and for his family to finally have a moment of peace for all those harsh moments from both worlds that he now is aware of with her words. Back on Earth at their shantytown residence, Jiang Kai excitedly told his brother and sister he had earned enough money. His sister teased him, joking about the possibility of him doing something illegal while getting the sum for his brother's surgery. Jiang responded it was all thanks to the Ghost Star world. His brother, full of relief and concern, stated, "The road ahead must have been hard with all of this while showing great care for their safety." Jiang reassured that all those actions did not amount to all those hardships he endured. When the older brother had to carry both him and his younger sister, he added he promised, all the hard days were all past now. At their celebrations his phone started ringing. It was a call from Wei Ying, and he mentioned his loss of bet and that they all should meet for him to take a look at their new status quo from now onward. Outside the Xingyao Nation security zone at the Beast God battlefield, Jiang Kai commented on the familiar yet ruined state of the place from his childhood where that traumatic event had occurred. As if reading his thoughts, Wei suddenly approached him and gave a signal that something was occurring, and at that time they could both watch something grand happening. Jiang looked up to find individuals fighting some monster, which then his memories begun flowing as he stated in his internal speech with a deep breath what he was truly observing. He stated that normal explorers stop growing after a specific set of milestone, but not the extraordinary. At the beginning of their journey, levels 1 through 80 only bring growth that has usage only in the virtual world with the help of Ghost Star's power system that connects with their bodies, as that connection is not that large. That was all set to a different pace with all the growth from 81 to 120 level for them. That new milestone meant power could finally become one with Earth, which caused such great value where you are able to pull all those virtual powers from the Ghost Star into the real world. This supernatural shift in the system caused a major turning point in humanity's struggle with the Beast God by greatly enhancing their battle capabilities, but this all comes with more responsibility. It showed how it was always set to have certain level of those power being given to all that reached the top, and those people are very few among humanity. That all those actions of progress are seen with this all to make a statement. Jiang Kai observed the fight of Transcendent being going toe-to-toe with a powerful Beast God, commenting how powerful they were at that level. Then Commander Wei told him this is a small sample of how humanity does their work, because to even just take down an ordinary level monster there were great sacrifice, and that is nothing compared to what would come next for him. He then expressed how he still is true to his promise of non-intervention to Jiang, but also had a great belief in him due to his intuition and gut feeling. He also confessed to Jiang how all actions can lead to becoming a person that could be more powerful for future days and for all who need aid such as himself to protect the people. Wei also confessed his worry of a battle on field that could easily mean his end, and also declared if he was able to achieve even a portion of greatness he can bring to help his country, all of his hard work and training would not have gone to waste, as if he died for something for himself, it would only have some value. With his closing thoughts, Wei said that the future all depends on him since he believes he has potential, but all of that rests at his choices now, and he hopes for what best and to come in peace. Then after that discussion Jiang Kai took a break and then decided to go to Ghost Star again. He looked within himself for a moment and decided his next course of action. He was no longer going to dwell on those old areas as the challenges there were not even giving any worth, so it is time for a new monster. With a system message on the screen, the Ghost Banshee came into view where it gave him a description and their abilities. And to Jiang's own concern, it was far more deadly than any of his other challenge up until this point. Because of this he came to a conclusion that this will not do and his actions can no longer be solo, as all the prior actions up till now, there will be a need to gather teammates so the challenges will be met correctly. Back at Xingyao City, Jiang Kai found Hu Yen asleep, holding her fortune-telling board in front. The board was written saying, "Don't bother me, I am waiting for the captain." Upon realizing that it might very well be about him, he expressed shock. And immediately she jumped into action, all in excitement. She mentioned that she was patiently waiting for his return after all this time. And then, as if nothing has ever changed, she asked for what he always was about, to start a hunting journey to test if her skills can be met to his needs. Jiang Kai, remembering his promise, admitted that is what he was aiming. Then she stated her next offer, which was also to present a great teammate which might be of service with their monster-slaying quests. He asked that as a follow-up with who it is to see if that person meets his criteria, since he didn't want to repeat. He was met by a new person, Ruan Yu, who declared to have been a drunkard by their character while the fortune lady was pushing him from behind. Jiang Kai expressed that his preference is to refuse before even trying to speak with that man. Hu Yen, now in desperation, tried to persuade Jiang to accept since it seems she knew why and that the man was very hardworking and that also could do other benefits beside fighting. And for the last offer said if that does not sway his heart, that he is willingly to not share the loot. Jiang Kai grabbed Ruan Yu's hand with a large smile and stated that the man was very talented. He welcomed him as his new teammate as if that statement alone meant acceptance of the man was always guaranteed and that from this point onward they will act as family as a method to make the situation all that more convincing. He declared to all that their first team objective will be the Ghost Banshee as their first priority task, which lead Hu Yen to express shock that the true meaning was actually the new member's lack of worth but a free service and nothing more, as his leader always acts in a greedy manner. Then, at the Valley of the Kings, at the elite Ghost Banshee zone, Jiang Kai told them to be silent, and as their leader, he was telling them their first rules for this new task. He added that this monster was many times stronger than a previous foe and with one contact or action against them would lead to death, so extreme silence was needed for this challenge and only attack within 10 meters is the only range they can hit. Hu Yen followed all instruction correctly and in clear detail while suddenly another sound of Ruan Yu started chiming with repeated "ow-hu" noises. Irritated, Jiang Kai scolded her before realizing that she was not the one causing all the racket. His new teammate seemed very drunk and started saying all those noises on random basis, making his presence very loud and visible to any enemies nearby. Jiang Kai, clearly regretting his decision, looked towards Hu Yen with frustration at how her help could ever come into this area with all such flaw to her promises, as the team slowly descend into a terrible disarray from his mind. She however expressed clear discomfort with her teammate as if it wasn't something she ever imagined of occurring too, as a state of pure panic was slowly forming over their current situations. Suddenly a Ghost Banshee unleashed its signature move that is intended to cause fear as its signature fear-breaking scream, which left everyone paralyzed by it. Hu Yen declared in terror at how strong the Banshee is and was now pleading for death as it was going to be the better choice of action at this stage. Ruan Yu, unfazed by it, began to cheer as it was in pure bliss for some odd reason. His state looked completely oblivious and said a whole set of drunk statements at the sight of their enemy. Then after his nonsense talks, he ran straight to the monster at full speed and tackled the Banshee as if he was challenging their enemy into an epic fight for honor and praise to his skills. With that unexpected tackle that was clearly not set by their prior methods of attack, all the negative effect left from Jiang and his teammates' system message was alerted of a status removal as they all were finally able to move freely. Then Jiang asked himself if that action did all of it and if their new friend just mind-controlled all of it and was left bewildered and puzzled that such a character was doing what they just witnessed, with such absurdity and craziness at play. Then he came up with a plan for him, that this was the opportunity of a lifetime because all of his powers can do and that if she cast again it will render them as targets, which prompts a one-time chance to go all in on this plan since this might just be their victory or total annihilation. Ruan Yu, while fully drunk, proclaimed his deep love to the Banshee before kissing it while Jiang used this distraction to eliminate that creature. Upon that completion of such objective, a notification rung confirming the death of the beast where all rewards have now been given. In his next lines, the drunk was shown a character that was deeply filled with sadness, stating how his wife was killed just from those two actions that occurred recently. He was expressing a heartbroken state of the loss, which made Hu Yen mention that he's known for having a crazy set of mind and all the action and state that occurred was more on character base alone. While all of that discussion was occurring, Jiang realized that the previous battle and his understanding of that skill was clearly on spot, so that weakness from others never applies on him since he had such high tolerance due to a power set where no one ever thought could come into an existence or some set of skill could make them completely immune, and if this was so, and to his newfound ideas, he started giggling, showing a cunning smile that might signify a new era where his team is the unstoppable force with such power. Hu Yen, caught off guard with that new creepy appearance, suddenly found such expression as to be something new that had appeared. A new scene then started where another Banshee was ready to strike, and this time with much more care and precision, and suddenly Ruan charged forth, and this time was the bait. Jiang stated, "I chose you, go Ruan Yu." He ran straight up, with his drunk personality in full display, declaring his love at the sight of his target and that all he desires is a moment to make a pass on all those fine qualities that their wife had. The banshee then cast her skill again, leaving Ruan untouched by its effect while everyone else was being suppressed by it. This created the opening that was needed from such challenge, and Jiang used the vulnerability of his foe to use that chance for an immediate kill with a fast responsive speed, as its only plan was that of kill or be killed and not linger on such opportunity. He landed the blow on target with precision and stated it as his greatest achievement. While he was celebrating, Ruan was still crying because his wife had been blasted, and in his sadness he said he hopes bad luck finds his enemies from all the anger he is now enduring due to what has occurred to him from others since those 2 encounters he was in. In that closing moment, Jiang prompted for the team to quickly take all and leave, since such situation might come where Ruan's effect may become null as time goes. All the members responded and agreed, because this tactic seems more and more the solution for such type of challenges, leaving Hu in a state that something has awakened within her captain with new perspective as their hunt continues to grow even larger, faster, and harder all at the same time, while making them completely unstoppable. 3 hours later, Ruanyu was still in his drunken state, lamenting the loss of his 35th wife, as if they truly existed, while also expressing grief from all past ones where it was all to be lost at such quick pace. Jiang Kai, however, was ecstatic that Ruanyu's unique state allowed them to obtain 35 elite banshee treasure chests, clearing the Valley of the Kings from any banshees in one go, expressing this feat as something never thought possible, and all of that was from one man's efforts and abilities. Hu Yen also voiced that all that she saw can only be found in dreams. That is how effective they all were with all of those skills that were set in motion on that specific area, which gave them too many returns for a single run. Adding to this, Jiang stated that he leveled up twice, reaching level 14, and all of that was from sacrificing a broken-hearted Ruan as his only issue. Jiang Kai then expressed he was wrong in his prior judgment of his teammate, as what he did proved that she was right all along and now has discovered the key to understand the value of such method of operation. Hu Yen, pleased that her recommendation was given justice, said that those actions could also be seen as a method to train Ruan's mental fortitude to get over those lost loves, which all comes down to that is not at all a problem for them and is for him in a positive tone that they are helping on those set of actions. Then, Jiang mentioned 2 skill cards that he had looted at the location. The first, Rain Prayer, was suited for people with high mental power to summon rainstorms, which led him to give that card to Hu Yen, while also giving that such technique of a powerful summon is only on a range of potential if it is met for right kind of users, as she was the more suitable person to take it. Hu Yen expressed extreme gratefulness, and even started crying that she finally had some useful skill, aside her own useless skill of just fortune-telling. She started bowing on the floor to express how grateful she is at being saved from the useless state she was set as. Then to settle the mood, Jiang mentioned the second card, which was a one-time use skill point for a hidden class, and that this effect should be used as it does not last, which was only one time. When he used it, it showed that its ability was to steal a 1,000th of other stats. Jiang expressed frustration, given how minuscule his own stats are, and the effect from this would result him just getting a little increase, and for such a value it should have been something of a worth and not so useless. Ruanyu then started to wake up and said why he felt his head was in great pain. Hu Yen told him he was lamenting over losing 35 wives, to which he cried and apologized that his bad habit of always wanting to be drunk has made him a burden and would be fine if they wanted him to leave. But Jiang swiftly stopped him from going too far, saying that his abilities were vital to their success and that now it was a must-have, also that to show such praise of effort, he was offering a new equipment for his efforts. With that statement, he also offered one for Hu Yen, while her vision started seeing him as her knight in shining armor, a prince among the masses. The teammates, deeply moved by this display of kindness and recognition, vowed to follow him for life even after they died, expressing their joy and happiness with how they are part of something truly special now that they all are part of something more. As for Jiang, he did a slight chuckle as they were still acting like it, as if it's all a performance where he is the core of it and has taken control of all their action. Jiang Kai visited the trading office, where the clerk expressed excitement over his large transactions, revealing that his monster corpses and treasure chests were worth a whopping 840,000 ghost star coins, equivalent to 8.4 million Xingyao coins. Jiang Kai was thrilled, believing the money would provide for his brother and Yingzi's future. In the locker room, Jiang Kai reveled in his successful haul, not only having enough money, but also finding two powerful pieces of equipment for himself: night trousers that synergized with his night cloak for stealth and a ghost leather armor that offered critical attack voiding abilities. He also learned the true effect of his gloves, which could now transfer his critical damage onto weapons, making them even more effective, leading him to think he could defeat an experienced adventurer. Exiting the office, Jiang Kai ran into Ruanyu, who excitedly informed him about a modified life chaser. When Ruanyu playfully tossed the device towards him, Jiang Kai became concerned, wondering if he was still upset for some previous incident he may or may not had some involvement. However, Ruanyu quickly recalled it. Ruanyu then explained that he added a magnet, making it easier for Jiang Kai to retrieve the life chaser, which was now also capable of damaging on its return. Jiang Kai expressed his amazement and deep gratitude for Ruanyu's unexpected talent as an inventor. After Jiang Kai gave a huge compliment and just made a pledge Ruanyu to it with a mighty god swear, he saw himself and a nearby building got struck by lightning. Then suddenly the heavens began to rain. Confused about the reason, he then questioned who was messing around again, until a smug Hu Yen revealed it was he that used the praying skill, but seems that the only effect he has right now is creating some little drizzle. At this, Ruanyu showed obvious disappointment to Jiang Kai. Then Jiang Kai stepped up, praising Hu Yan's skill for its surprising effectiveness, pointing out that the rain would force enemies into huddled formations, which can then become easy target for them all. A now motivated and happy Hu Yan expressed to the captain that he'll further train to improve his prayer of the rain skill. Jiang Kai celebrated the improved strengths of his team thanks to the skills of Ruanyu and Hu Yan. He believes that all them are much stronger. At this happy point, then a team nearby him began a frustrated and worried discussion because now the rain began soaking their stuff, which made a remark to being late because the Huang family. Jiang Kai, overhearing, cautiously requested for some explanation. The nearby team member revealed they're heading to the Frozen Island for a huge boss hunt that's organized by the powerful Huang family's Xuanwu Guild that is gathering thousands to help protect the country's honor, as each has their part to the overall fate of it, with Jiang Kai realizing that he didn't know of the big news, making him go speechless. The nearby team member, clearly impatient, urged his group to move, dismissing Jiang Kai's questions and emphasizing the consequences of being late. Jiang Kai, now deep in thought, pondered the Huang family's involvement in the boss hunt for the country, wondering if Huang Wei was among those participating. He recalled Commander Wei's words about everyone's responsibility to protect their nation and the resources. With the knowledge of the Ghost Star boss's importance, including king-level bosses and the dangers of these beasts that needs thousands to take down, this led him to believe if the Huang family, especially Huang Wei, has decided to give back to their nation in response to the beast god's destructive path to the earth. Jiang Kai then made the decision to join the cause at the Frozen Island and fulfill his responsibility by fighting alongside with others. Arriving at the Frozen Island, Jiang Kai and his team quickly found themselves shivering, since they went there without adequate winter gear. Hu Yan, expressing his discomfort, inquired why they didn't bring proper clothing, and Jiang Kai admitted that he didn't anticipated the cold. Soon, another team member nearby questioned where Jiang Kai and his team was from. He also warned them that walking on the ice was a no-go, explaining that the monster's lair was beneath. The man added if they were careless enough to walk all the way to the lake, then this might wake up all those roaming monsters. Suddenly the ice beneath their feet cracked, and a level 22 fishman monster emerged. The team member from earlier immediately mocked them for their reckless behavior. The nearby man continued to say that a fishman this level would require a group above level 20, plus these are well-known close-ranged monster. The nearby man said that when tangled, especially by level 22 one, it can result in death. Ignoring his words, the fishman lunged toward Jiang Kai. However, Jiang Kai's ghost armor activated its void ability, letting him completely dodge the attack. With utter calmness, he then with one clean strike using his knee immediately defeated the monster, impressing everyone there including the guy. In disbelief, the nearby team member gaped at Jiang Kai, now realizing that Jiang Kai, despite being a low level 10, was capable of defeating a monster usually requiring a team of level 20 to do so, shocked with his power and also the fact that he defeated it with no sweat. Jiang Kai, feeling invigorated from the brief fight, declared that the cold no longer bothered him. He reflected on his increased strength, knowing that with his critical hit, he could inflict devastating damage, and he is now around level 20 whether fighting a monster or adventurers. Hu Yen then presented him with the Fishman's Corpse card, and Jiang Kai thanked him. Before leaving, he took the opportunity to ask nearby people where Huang Wei was, and they quickly changed their tune to that of total admiration. They excitedly volunteered to show him the way to Huang Wei. Later, Jiang Kai arrived alone on a more secluded part of the frozen island. He had decided to leave Hu Yen and Ruan Yu behind since his encounter with Huang Wei was personal. He began to wonder if the three guys just made stuff up, but suddenly Huang Wei made an entrance, expressing his surprise and also to find out that he is also there to take a part in fighting for their nation. Jiang Kai stated he is open to put the past behind and even contribute in fighting side by side on this frozen island. However, Huang Wei suddenly attacked him. Shocked, Jiang Kai demanded an explanation. With a dark and sinister smile, Huang Wei admitted he only participated in the boss battle so he can manipulate the military. He was driven solely by revenge for Jiang Kai and to use his merit to get even with the military. He even added that he wasn't planning on killing him for this day, but that seeing that Jiang Kai came all this way searching for him, this is perfect for him to do so and get his personal vengeance. Jiang Kai, now realizing the kind of person that he was, now started the fight while also expressing his surprise on how evil and wicked Huang Wei is, even after thinking that they were willing to fight alongside to defend the honor of their nation, with Jiang Kai then telling them that if they wanted to kill him they must all come at once, remembering they got owned when facing Falcon 5 earlier. The nearby Huang Wei's men boasting how Huang Wei is far more powerful now than ever. At the moment they quickly tried to examine Jiang Kai, now finally acknowledging his existence, but then all suddenly got terrified of what they see. They saw how he is already at level 14, way more above that what they would expected on his young age, which means he's improving faster than what is considered usual. Jiang Kai then launched a fire attack at Huang Wei, who began screaming in pain and then instantly started to lose huge health points, with his HP taking critical damage of -2000 HP each for x 3 times. His team is surprised that the flame is doing way too much damage on him despite being normal fire. Then Jiang Kai with such coolness added, "Your young master is dead." But surprisingly Huang Wei's life is not on the brink just yet. With pure rage he declared to them, I'm not dead." Then he explained to himself that it's the magic from his gear that he is not yet death, and that once he gets back to his full power he will destroy everything and everyone that got involved in making him feel this type of defeat. He ordered his men that if they do not wish to share the same death as he did they will all kill Jiang Kai now. And this was received as an order, meaning the fight is just starting.